really matter, and it's a huge prize pool. $26,000 is the total prize pool, and that actually dwarfs, I believe, the prize pool is equal to the prize pool of some of the other MLG events. So, pretty high stakes tournament coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so once again, if you guys are going to plan on watching that, go ahead and click on the link in the chat channel. I'm sure Sugar Bear or one of the other admins will get it up there for you. It not only sponsors MLG, it does help vVv bring you this content that you're seeing now, and also supports, Rough and Murder. Perhaps they will be standing up on the champion stage or the show match at the next MLG event.
Yes, it looks like we are on Antigua. We've got Hasu spawning as the green Protoss player, and So Young spawning as the teal Terran player in the eastern position. So again, force cross positions, which means we do see cheese more often than we do on non-force cross positions. But I imagine Hasu's going to try to get into it more of a macro game like he did against Murder, and try to correct some of the mistakes which we saw led to that loss.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen here. So Hyung asking if Hasu is the best toss in vVv, and I don't know. I haven't seen Rocker versus Hasu in a while, so I don't know who would be the better toss. And apparently Hasu is currently inactive right now as well, so that may be the reason why we haven't seen him on a Wednesday night StarCraft as of late.
Yeah, so Sohyang going to be adding the barracks right around the same time as the gateway being added for Hasu, and again, going to check the gas to see whether it's an early expansion for either player, or whether they go for more techie route. We have the gas being added for Hasu right now, and OP Terran doesn't really need gas to expand very quickly on a map like this.
Yeah, but then again, neither does Zerg. But let's stop talking about any race being OP.
I'm just kidding.
I know, but I can't let you do that to my race. As a probe, now gonna come up the ramp over here, take a look around, and pretty much see that a barracks is in play, and there is no gas. So Hasu going to know that there's going to be perhaps a fast expansion or perhaps a lot of barracks, as the probe now coming in dealing a little bit of damage. Hasu needs to be careful. He needs to be able to sneak away with the probe. He doesn't want to lose this all-important scouting information, and he also knows that as long as an SCV is chasing him, that SCV is not doing any mining either.
And he wants to try to get in here and see whether any gas went up, but now that the Marine is on that ramp, he's not going to be able to get up with that probe unless he does some cute dancing here. But right now it looks like he will go home, or maybe stay out on the map and place some proxy pylons. I really like to see Protoss players place pylons to spot for drops a little bit early, so they know how and when to react and really shut down those drops. We saw Murder wasn't able to do too much damage with the drops he tried in the game against Hasu. It was just sheer upgrades and macro and sort of decision making on Hasu's part, which sort of cost him that first game on Metalopolis.
All right, we'll see whether or not Seo Hyung does what he did against Rocker in that earlier matchup on Shakura's Plateau. You can see that a Nexus is being built. If perhaps Marines and some SCVs are pulled off, a lot of damage could be had. SCV now simply just running away. Now it doesn't look like Seo Hyung is going to be pulling off any SCVs. Instead, going into double refineries and training up more Marines for the front door.
Yeah, and a Stalker coming out for Hasu is going to do his best to try to take down the scouting SCV and try to shut down the wealth of information which that SCV could get if it poked back up into the base of Hasu. And then I also like poking the front door with that Stalker. You know your opponent doesn't have gas, which means no concussive shell and no stim early on. So a Stalker with a lot of shields and HP can get some decent scouting information, see how many bunkers are up, see a Marine count outside of that bunker as well. So I'd like to see Hasu at least take the center and perhaps poke up that ramp with this scouting Stalker.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen next. Hasu is setting up a proxy pylon in the center portion of the map, outside of the range of the center Zonaga Tower. He could try to go for a proxy Stargate, but that would be a rather curious position for it. Or he could be going into a 6-gate play off of 2 bases, as he does have his second Nexus up, and he is able to support that many gateways off of 2 bases this early in the game.
Yeah, we'll see if he comes with a bunch of sentries here. I imagine he might be working for some sort of pressure. He could go with some sentries on the next warp in or two, then add gates, and then try to hit with that big 6-gate timing like you were saying, and the sentries will have energy by then. But it looks like instead it's going to be Stalkers, so hoping to put maybe a little pressure on the front door, and So Young really doesn't have a lot.
So Hasu now moving out. He does have 5 stalkers. There is 1 bunker on the front door. The Marauder does not have concussive shell, no stim as of yet. And now the units are trying to back off. A Marine almost gets taken down. 1 more shot would have done it. As now the stalkers is going to retreat. And I hear 1 Marine did jump, or 1 Marine got out of the bunker to make way for the lower hit point Marine, as we see whether or not Hasu will do another round of warp-ins and try to put in more pressure. He's chrono boosting all 3 warp gates.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you want to put pressure on, he could have delayed this push just a moment or two to get up another 3 gates, and off of these 2 bases, he really could have afforded 5 or 6 gates constantly producing, but off of just 3 gates, he's really going to be limited in the units he's going to be able to come out with. But we do see that Sohyang has not added a second bunker, so this force from Hasu might be pretty successful here, especially it looks like he will go for that Guardian Shield, so a lot less damage being taken by the units here for Hasu, and a ton of probes, or a ton of SCVs being pulled off to try to repair this bunker, but a lot of damage will be done here by Hasu.
Hasu now just trying to focus on the bunker. The bunker is being repaired. SCVs are getting taken out. Stalkers now getting focused down one at a time. As So Hyung now losing 10 workers already. More SCVs trying to make their way in. As the Stalkers, able to walk back up the ramp and get off 1 more critical shot. And it looks like a new round of Stalkers will come in once more.
Yeah, I feel like when So Hyung saw that pressure, saw his opponent was at least poking a little bit, maybe just adding a second bunker is all you really need. Then you can afford to have 1 bunker go down, no big deal. You've got units protected in a second, but instead he was forced to pull all those SCVs, took huge losses, and now it's 61-40.
So Seo Hyung saying so good, giving mad props to Hasu. I'm sure Hasu has a grin on his face right now as a new pylon now warping in once more. There are 3 sentries in this group, so now we are going to have perhaps another 1 Guardian Shield plus even 2 force fields, which would really slow down a lot of this. We are getting into reactors, and apparently Seo Hyung's wondering where his SCVs are. Unfortunately for him, he did lose 12 of them.
Yeah, they're dead right now, and it looks like Hasu, in not making the same mistake as he did in that first game, going for early upgrades. He's got 1-1 on the way, and that's going to be important because already we have level 1 weapon upgrade done for So Hyung, and he's working on level 1 armor. So the upgrade is going to be a little bit more even this time. We'll see whether Hasu adds that that all-important Twilight Citadel, or the
Twilight Council.
Twilight Council.
Not Citadel of Adun, sorry, wrong game.
To get Charge and Blink. I imagine that could be a transition as he adds more and more gateways as we move into a longer game.
Yeah, we also see an armory and a second engineering bay as well coming in from Seo Hyung, so he's going to be going for two upgrades momentarily, but Hasu wants to hit another timing, and I am curious if he's also going to try to expand behind this, as he knows that as long as he has the harvester advantage, he can continue to trade. As long as it's even trades, he will come out the victor. But that front door now with supply depots, a factory, medevacs, marines with stim. But Seo Hyung may be trying to go for a drop, which may put his units out of position.
Yeah, drop incoming, and I love the fact that Hasu is, he took an early advantage there. He killed a ton of SCVs, so he's investing in a lot of different tech. He might be getting up a 3rd shortly, like you mentioned. And he's got the front door locked down for So Hyung. So I love the decisions he's making right now as somebody who's ahead. That's exactly what he should be doing. But he might have difficulty defending against this double drop coming from So Hyung, especially if this Nexus goes down. He's probably going to lose it immediately. So it's lucky that he hasn't yet placed it down.
Yeah, the double pylons will spot this, but as long as Hasu has mini-map awareness, which he said was something that he was missing, as the medevacs are now going to simply fly by. Does Hasu spot this in time? I'm not sure. No, it looks like Seo Hyung's going to spot it for him, as the Marauders and the Marines are now down, and now in comes the attack on the front door.
Yeah, so he's basically forced to. He did not see with those pylons. He only just saw when So Hyung attacked that probe that was about to make the 3rd. We see an assault on the front door. There's a supply depot that's down. That's really going to mess things up for So Hyung. A nice force field on the ramp might trap all those SCVs. Looks like instead he's just going to go right up into the main. And now he's going to be forced to try to take on these forces with his remaining SCVs, as well as just a few Marines and Marauders. The Zealots are in the back, so they're not able to attack at all. At least a good portion of them, but just more and more SCVs going off at the same time. A big drop in the natural of Hasu, so counterattacks going on here, and we'll see who comes out ahead.
The Stalkers do have Blink now. The Zealots now getting slowed down as well. We'll see what's going to happen. Seohyung losing a lot of his units. Harvest or worker count 75 to 40, but when it turns into a base races generally favor Terran players as they can lift off. All of these barracks looks like they will fall. Zealots now going after Marauders again. A medevac now trying to make its way over, not going to be able to do so, as the Stalkers are now attempting to perhaps destroy a couple more of these units off over here. SCVs look like it will go down, and this base race is not looking good, as Hasu needs to be able to warp in a Nexus somewhere.
Yeah, and a storm goes off, doing a ton of damage, but I think that Sohyung might actually be able to heal this up. He still has a lot of energy on the medevacs, and Archon coming in. We'll see whether Hasu's able to pull these probes and take down the remaining forces of Sohyung. It is 58-62 to 21 right now, so Sohyung has himself in a nice corner here, doing a lot of damage still to the probes of Hasu. This is crazy. 60 workers killed by Hasu, 44 by Sohyung. It is 46 to 13. Sohyung gonna pick up his Marauder and his Marine, try to micro those against the remaining units of Hasu. And without any Stalkers on the field just now being warped in, he's gonna be able to micro indefinitely. And the Stalkers, first and foremost, gonna focus down the medevacs and put a stop to this aggression. It's 44 to 9, and I think Hasu's won this one.
Yeah, Hasu can just simply blink over, catch the Marines and the Marauders out of position, and now there are still a lot of sentries and Stalkers here. Zealots chasing after Marines. It looks as though everything is going to be at the NAT, or the third base for Seohyung, as that is up and running, and he is also at the 3 o'clock expansion third base for the normal 6 o'clock starting location.
And Hasu's actually focusing down the starport, which I really like. It's going to prevent any sort of crazy units from coming out, and Hasu just taking out all the production of Sohyung, and Sohyung just trying to come out with more and more Marines. The few barracks are still remaining, so he's going to have a small Marine force to fight with, but I think Hasu's army definitely huge advantage at this point. If we check the army supply, it is 34 to 12. Worker supply is 12 to 4, as more and more workers die for Sohyung, but you're right, he was able to lift up, looks like the orbital command right now, but Hasu's getting a decent economy back at home as long as he defends a little bit. Another Nexus going up for Hasu, so yeah, this game's going to last a few more minutes, but Hasu in a dominating position.
Yeah, Hasu just in a very, very dominating position here. Marines are in a nice pack, being able to work together. They are upgraded 2-2, still very dangerous. The Stalkers are only upgraded 1-0 or 1-1-0 as the pylon was taken out. It looks like the Forge now operational once more. Perhaps more Chrono Boost could be added in as well, as Seohyung says GG.
Yeah, he saw that blink.